What's up, gang? It's Elijah, the jeweler. We here with another video, man. Right now we in Las Vegas. We out here chilling. You see I got Club Paradise on. I just got back from Houston. We was in Houston for 6 weeks. I did a pop-up out there, ThriftCon. I appreciate everybody who pulled up, supported it, grabbed a shirt from my Club Paradise drop. Dropped 2 designs. I sold 120 shirts that day. But back to the topic of the day. The topic of the day is the downfall of most small businesses. And I think I got some credentials to talk about this. I run about 3 small businesses full time. I did over 1.5 in revenue. And I think I got a couple credentials. You know, I've been on paper for the last 2-3 years. So I think I could talk about this. I think I'm well qualified. And I got a lot of friends who are multi-millionaires and own their own businesses. And I think I'm qualified to talk about this. The number one downfall to most small businesses, if you don't watch the whole video, just make sure you watch this part. The number one downfall to every small business that I see personally is their personal expenses. People start making money in revenue, and they feel like the more money they're doing in revenue, the more their personal expenses should grow. I think the best formula is having a fixed rate of personal expenses. Try to be no more than 15% of your personal expenses being your revenue in business. And what I mean by this is really in profit. Because if you have a business that's like a jewelry business and you do a $10,000 sale, that's not really $10,000. $10,000 in jewelry, you could sell something for $10,000 and profit $1,000. That happens a lot. But really should be your gross profit. You should be living on 15% of your gross profit from your business. What I mean by that is if you're pulling in $10,000, you should be living off of $1,500 a month. If you have to move in with a family member, if you have to do anything like that, I think that's what you should be doing. Because at the end of the day, if you're not putting money back into your business is not going to be able to grow. And if you have 50% of your profit is going to anything that is like just not going back into the business, I think it's just crazy. It's ignorant. And I know from doing it myself for the last like 18 months, I've had car payments and like my bare minimum bills has been at least $5,000 a month. And the most right now it's about $17,000. And that is a big effect, especially in my retail businesses. I've been feeling that a lot because I've been able to put $18,000 a month back into my business. So I've been feeling that a lot. And that's basically one of the reasons why I thought about making this video. The number 2 topic of the day when it comes to the downfall of your small business is your employees. Make sure you're treating your employees good, and hopefully they do the same back. Because if you treat your employees like shit, your employees are the face of your business. How they act is going to be the face of your business. If you're not there 24/7, they might be stealing from you. They might be treating customers like shit. They might be fucking in the back room. They might be doing all type of shit. But they only gonna act off of the energy and the aura that you give them. If you treat them correctly, hopefully they reciprocate. A lot of people do, sometimes they don't. But just try to be the best person you could be and treat them the best that you could be, so you don't try to have to run into anything like that. Because I hear a lot of small businesses, this happens so much in small businesses. A lot of people have employees that they just find off the street, and they might not treat them the best, they might not pay them the best, and because of that, they feel it in the long run. And what I mean by that is, I got friends who own stores and had employees steal over $10,000 worth of inventory from them. But it's all off of how you treat your employees and how you're paying your employees, how you're talking to your employees. How are you putting a game plan together for your employees and telling them, yeah, you're gonna stick with me, you're gonna be in this company, and this gonna be the plan, and you're gonna work for me this long, this is that, da 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 da. You need to make sure that you treat them with value so they can treat your business with value. Another topic for this is make sure that you stay away from business loans. Business loans cripple small businesses so much, and I know because I paid about $70,000 back in business loans, and I got a bunch of friends that take out business loans and they just get crushed by them. Everybody I know that has experience with business loans, I never met anybody that's got rich off of pulling out a business loan, a SBA, and being able to really make money off of that. Don't get me wrong, I've done it before, but just the way I manage my money, and it went back to the first topic, my personal expenses. When I started, I had a SBA a couple years ago, and then I went from like 12,000 a month to revenue to doing at least 40,000 a month in revenue every single month after. And I was at the bare minimum. If I was making 40,000 a month, I'm like, damn, this was a bad month. But I was like off of some boost of an SBA. The SBA wasn't that big. It was like 8,000, but it really put me on the business. I was really able to really turn up with it. And off of that, I went crazy, but then the more money I was making, I was like, the more stuff I can afford. So I was like, damn, I should go get this, I should go get that. And I always looked at stuff, like when I was back in that mindset, I would look at, well, if I'm purchasing something that's less than 10% of my income a month, I'll be fine. But that was an ignorant way to look at it, because if I go purchase 6 things that are 10% of my income or 5% of my income, that's 50% of my income I just lost a month. So it's just being coherent, being smart with your money, just making sure that you're just being aware. Another topic is, don't get big-headed. When you start making money, don't act like you're making money, because that's going to send you off in the long run. And what I mean by that is, if you're making 60,000 a month, don't act different than when you were making 6,000 a month. Don't start going out to eat. Don't go start splurging on your bitch. Don't go start shit just buying your kids dumbass shit and this, that, da. Just off rip. Let stuff grow. Let stuff accumulate. And I think you should still, no matter if you start making $1 million a month, I don't think you should start growing your personal expenses a month. I think no matter how much money you make, I think you should be cashing out everything you have, cashing out all your liabilities. If you could cash out the car, buy the car out in cash. If you could buy the house out in cash, buy the house out in cash. If you could pay for the insurance policy in cash, pay the insurance policy in cash. So as you do all that, the less overhead you have a month, that gives you more room to grow as a business month over month over month, no matter what type of business it is, if it's retail or if it's anything. Because you can always put that into ads. You can always put that into trying to grow your business more and more and more. Versus if I'm making, let's say I went from making 15,000 a month to 80,000 a month. If you're making 80,000 a month and just 4 months ago you were making 15,000 a month, you can be humbled just as quick as you climb that ladder. So I think you just need to be mindful of that, be cautious of that. Just make sure that you're just being conscientious and don't just start living off of adrenaline. Don't let this stuff get to your head, because just as fast as you climb that ladder, just as fast as you can fall from that ladder. And I think that's just something that everybody should be conscientious with, especially in business. I think that's one of the biggest principles right behind the first one, because the adrenaline and becoming big-headed, it falls back into the first one. Because once you start feeling like, I'm the man, I'm making 80,000 a month, I'm making 120,000 a month, that's when you start feeling like, what? Shit, 4,000 a month for a car? That shit ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. And it start getting to your head, it start fucking you up. And then you start feeling it in the long run, because if you go sign a car note that's a 72-month loan at $1,900 a month, you guaranteed have to pay that no matter what for the 72 months. Unless you go file bankruptcy or do some crazy shit or let them just repossess your shit. No matter what, that debt is going to be indebted to you for that time period that you sign off. No matter if you go back from making 120 a month to 18 a month, you still have to pay that debt. And that's just something that you should be conscientious with. That's why I think all small businesses should try to limit their personal expenses as much as possible. I think you should pay cash for everything that you're using as a depreciating asset. Even for houses, people always try to emphasize that if you're living in a house, it's still a good investment. It depends on the state. In some states, you're paying 2% and up for taxes. The average mortgage on a house is 30 years. In 50 years of having a house for paying a 2% tax rate, not only are you losing the money that's going to the interest of the mortgage, you're losing the money that's going to the IRS off of you paying taxes every single year. To where if you get a 30-year mortgage, you own the house. Let's say I bought a house at 20 and I have it still when I'm 70. I paid 100% for the house at a 2% tax rate. Now I just basically gave the IRS, if I bought a $200,000 house, I just gave the IRS $200,000 after 50 years. Or let's just say I waited 30 years and I paid it off at 30. You still gave them 70%. That's fucking insane. And yeah, you live in it and it's not that bad and you minimize the expense. But a lot of people always try to push out propaganda and in the media that if you own a house, it's not as bad, this is that, because you gotta pay for a place to live anyways. Yes, it might be the smartest thing to do, because if I cash a house out, I'm only paying the 2% tax versus paying the $1,700 mortgage or whatever. But at the same time, it's still not the most conscientious. It's still not the most, it's just not an investment. You still are living in a depreciating asset. That's just my whole thing when it comes to that. And let me see if I got any more topics about this. Yeah, that's about it. Just really just live below your means. If you're a small business owner, just chill and set a goal for yourself. That's the most thing. Try to plan out as much as you can and really try to set a goal for yourself, to where it's like, I'm not gonna start buying things until I reach my goal of $8 million in liquid. Then that makes sense, because you set a goal to where you have $8 million in liquid, to where shit, now it makes sense for you to go buy a car for $100,000 or go do something like that, because you have $8 million in liquid. Now that's a aware goal. Or some people have smaller goals. Some people only want to make some people they're cool with $2 million. If you have $2 million, then you could go buy the $500,000 house and chill and put the rest in stocks and bonds. But my whole thing is, make sure that you have a liquid cash goal or a net worth goal, to where you have a net worth that's XYZ number or whatever you want it to be, and then get there first, and then start trying to live your life and try to live below your means as much as you can until you reach your goal. Because if you're trying to make your lifestyle equivalent to your goals when you're not there financially or in your business trail, you're fucking yourself up in the long run, because at the end of the day, you're just not where you need to be at, and you're just tacking on like bullshit. Like you're making it harder for yourself to reach your goal. And that was just the video of the day. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Thank you for everything. I'll make sure that y'all tap in Elijah Jeweler on Instagram, Club Paradise on Instagram, and Elijah's Kicks for all the shoes, clothes, and hype wear. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Yeah, have a good day.